Hey, Kate.
Hey, very excited. I can't wait to live and work in Barbados. There you go. That's our topic today.
I know, live and work in paradise here, and I'm happy that we have Eric. And Eric, this is actually like 6 months in the making, and I'll explain why. I want to say it was about 6 months ago or 5 months ago when Barbados, the news broke that Barbados had purchased land in different virtual spaces. I know they have like Super World. I think is it Sandbox and Decentraland? Is it all three?
Yep, Decentraland, they brokered a deal. Digital sovereignty, they're busting into the metaverse.
That is awesome. And I want to say that they're the first island that I've heard that has purchased land. Would you say that's true?
That I heard of, yes. They've been extremely progressive across the board.
Which is incredible. And I know we're going to talk through exactly like who is Eric Sutphin from Zeal, but yeah, I'm just really excited because months ago when I heard about this, I'm like, wow, we have to get somebody in to talk about how is Barbados not only in the metaverse, but they're doing, mixing metaverse with travel. And at the same time, also they're mixing the virtual with the in-person, which I think is very revolutionary. And I wish I could even understand like how somebody in Barbados came up with this idea before so many other people came up with this idea. But Eric, why don't you share a little bit about yourself so people know who you are and what does Zeal do?
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for having me. I am the co-founder of Zeal Remote, a co-working community really uniting the various disparate silos that exist out there, right? There's all these various travel groups and resources and TripAdvisor, but we're looking to bring all of that under one roof for a seamless experience from beginning to end and connect people across the globe. And we're kicking that off in Barbados because of all the amazing work they've done with the welcome stamp in response to COVID to drive more sustainable tourism. And we're going to do a behind the scenes of remote working, really to unpack and demystify what remote working is like. We'll start recording content and really show how we play in this content and Web 3.0 space.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. How did you get involved into this conversation? Like a country wanting to have a presence in the metaverse, like so new, and this is such a forward thinking for Barbados as a country. Can you tell us what's the story behind it?
I don't know the full story behind how Barbados has tapped into the metaverse. What I do know is that they're looking at very progressive ways to be able to create immersive experiences. How can people be able to come and from the comfort of their own home be able to put on their Oculus, be able to experience Barbados, go to the beaches, almost walk into the lobby of these hotels, look at real estate and land that's available. You're going to be able to try on Barbados before you actually go there. And so they've been continuously on the front end of from crypto and accepting Bitcoin across the country to their sustainable initiatives. Now they're tapping all the way into Web 3.0. It's amazing. And I can't wait to actually see what they're creating in the space there.
Such an exciting. I know, Dan. That was what was that? Was that from Australia? Well, the guy's like, I want to do this too, in Australia as well because they heard our conversation on Clubhouse. How crazy is that?
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, I do work for the government and I want to replicate what they're doing in Barbados in Australia. So I didn't know though that Barbados is very crypto friendly. Can you share more about that? Because I wasn't aware.
They are, yeah. They've accepted crypto for a little bit of time now. I wouldn't say they were the first. I don't know where in the stack or lineup they were, but it is widely accepted across the various travel and tourism partners there because so much of their traffic comes from Europe, from America, North America, and Canada. So you see very progressive and digitally savvy people going not only into the Caribbean, but Barbados. Barbados is unique from a lot of the others in the Caribbean in that the island itself is a little more, call it tropical. In that sense, you don't see the typical Bahamas, the typical sandals experience. You see, a lot more adventure and a lot more, call it authentic culture down there than what the rest of the islands typically have. So in that vein, I mean, they're doing some really cool things to be able to showcase that off and be able to display that virtually, and to drive remote workers through these tech plays, through leveraging the next wave of technology to be able to engage and connect people, not just on island, but globally, to be able to come and experience Barbados.
Now, I'm kind of curious, how lenient are they for entrepreneurs and wanting to live and work there? Can you tell us more about that? Because that's the common question. Like, I know Puerto Rico is doing it. Like, we're seeing a lot, like a lot of people moving to Puerto Rico because of tax incentives.
Yeah, Puerto Rico has their Desk Over campaign. Bahamas Beats. You have a variety throughout the Caribbean and globally. I just saw Italy or Greece just announced this week or within the last week or two. But Barbados themselves really did this in response to stabilizing their economy and driving extended stay travelers for up to a year, and you can renew for another year, and you can be able to even bring your family out. They have some requirements, but as of last year, they had a little over 2,800. Now, I imagine beyond 3,000 people that have actually moved there, over 6,000 applicants that had been able to actually fit the qualifications and be able to come out. Now, not all of those have stayed all 12 months. They pop around the Caribbean because of its proximity and accessibility to others. But they have that, excuse me, they have that leisure to come and go without having to leave every 89, 90 days. So they are extremely progressive. We're actually looking at talking with some of the investment and capital partners down there to do some workshops about what does starting a business, what does moving there look like. They're trying to create a path of least resistance for people to see what Barbados is like, to be able to try it on, see what part they want to live in, and then be able to do just that, start their businesses and bring their families there.
Yeah. Well, Eric, I know you guys are planning this amazing retreat in Barbados. Can you tell us more about that, and what are we expecting? I can't wait to hear.
Expect a lot of fun. We're gonna have over 20 travel writers and influencers out to Barbados to capture what behind the scenes of remote working is like, with the idea of really showcasing a day in the life. Not everything is like you see on Instagram, that's the output, but what is actually, travel like. And I know you guys travel all over the world for extended periods of time, have some hotels, so you know what this is like. And it's different than most people's perspective of kind of the digital nomad and how do you travel for as cheaply and as frugally as possible. We've seen through COVID, not just because of video conferencing and technology, we've seen the connectivity that enables people to travel for much longer periods of time. Airbnb, 26% of their Q1 bookings were for over 30 days. Globally, that's huge amount of people spending, a month traveling and working abroad in these more luxury places. So we want to be able to show, whether it's from your home, your basement, whether it's from an amazing hotel around the globe, how can you be able to go and live this remote lifestyle? It's easier than you think, and we want to be able to unpack and show, all those little trials and tribulations along the way that we have found as experienced travelers. What does that look like? What does coming and going for a few weeks, few months, and the day-to-day behind the scenes look like? So we have workshops, we have events, we have beach days, catamaran tours. We're going to do some remote working activation, and some philanthropic give back. We have a Love for the Locals program, and we're going to do a half day donating some time, planting some trees, cleaning up the beach, and they've got some other stuff in store for us. So it's amazing.
Yeah. And Eric, I'm curious, who's your target audience for this retreat? And can you tell us who is that?
So Zeal is attracting a lot of the more tech savvy, location independent entrepreneur. They might be a business owner, they might just be able to work from home, have that autonomy to be flexible. We're seeing a lot of female solo travelers, we're seeing empty nesters, people that have wanted to try on remote working and just haven't been able to see how, haven't had the community and the support and the guidance and the checklists to say, oh, okay, now I do this. That wasn't that bad. Okay, now I rent my car out, my home out. Now I have a dispendable income to be able to go and travel and stay at an even nicer place abroad, while still making money doing what I do and having even more time and flexibility because I'm even more productive with the community while I'm abroad.
Yeah, Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing, and I love what you said. That I mean, thousands of people now are registering. It felt like before everybody was going to maybe a small number of places, but now I think because the world is so big, we're finding like, oh, maybe Barbados is a place I'd love to live, but a year ago I never would have thought I'd want to live there. So it's great that you're being able to expose people, and that's something I've been thinking about with Web3 and Metaverse was people were I think in the automatically we go to like it's going to take away from, right? Like automation is going to take away, AI is going to take away from, instead of like how can it complement. When we originally had this conversation months ago, it was, wait a minute, is Metaverse going to stop people from traveling? So they're just going to stay in their home? But I'd love to get your thoughts too. And I know, Kate, I know you have some thoughts on this as well, but I see it as this is a way I think people are going to travel more physically because they get to see something before they go. They get to network with people. They get to do a lot. So when they get there, it's almost like you're maximizing your time, or maybe you even want to go and live. What are your thoughts there?
100% agree. I think it will be a way to more easily connect and experience before you go. You'll be able to try on, different environments, experiences. Uh, it's the try before you buy concept, right? I mean, where you're even like Warby Parker and their glasses, you get to be able to literally go on and see the experience before you go there. Now you don't have the wind and the breeze and the sand in your toes, but
Not
like
yet.
you actually get right, not yet. But you get to be able to kind of see, is this a culture, a community that the streets beyond Google Maps and TripAdvisor reviews and all the filtering you have to do to be able to know if that's the island or the destination you want to go to. So I am seeing technology across the board be able to connect people versus disconnect people. And I think it's how you use it. Really, it's the intention of the user. Do you want to get sucked in, or do you want to use it as a mechanism to now have more of this time or more of the time actually out in the real world because you were able to get connected to those experiences more effectively?
Mhm. Eric, my number one issues as far as living somewhere abroad or work and live, right? It's the Wi-Fi. It's like if the Wi-Fi is like so crazy, it's like I can't function without a Wi-Fi. That's a problem. And the second is the community. I mean, I've tried it 2 months ago. We're in the Philippines for 30 days. It was rainy, and I was like, I may kind of miss my community. So I think you really have to. I mean, that's my number one issue. I'm scared to do that. Being in a place where I don't have my friends that I can talk to, and I'm going to be homesick. Is that a common problem for people that wanting to, be a digital nomad?
That is one of the two common problems. The loneliness and the lack of community, or they're so busy remote working that they don't have time to enjoy the destination or aren't making the money in it. That's kind of that nomadic component, but it's either one or the other. It can be lonely. You can have Facebook groups and you can connect with locals and go to the bar and try to get involved in local meetups, but being able to kind of filter and already have kind of your circle or like-minded individuals that you travel with, whether that's yoga and being able to tap into a community of other scuba divers, that's where it kind of gets comfortable. That's where you have really great connections, is when you kind of have meet the birds of a feather, right? So Zeal is looking to be able to really create these groups and communities of these like-minded travelers, so that wherever you are in the world, you can be able to see who those people are and be able to reach out and connect and start building a relationship. So that, and yes, the Wi-Fi is life. Wi-Fi, if you don't have it, you can't work. You're then now on vacation. You go from remote working to leisure on vacation, maybe a little more stressed out than you should need to be because you might have a deadline, but um, you got to be able to vet and ensure the places you're going have appropriate Wi-Fi, and that it's not just the screenshot that they're throwing on Airbnb. That you're actually doing your due diligence and checking in with the locals and getting a pulse on what they say, because nothing worse than going out to a place for what you think is going to be a month or more, and you can't have even video on, like, and audio is breaking up on you. It's not manageable.
Mm. Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of ads about co-living. Is this kind of something, the future of what Zeal is doing? Is like a big, like have a community of big property where everyone can live and work remotely, or live and work in Barbados? Is this where you guys heading?
Yes, in part. We're not going to create kind of a hostel. We're tapping initially into the hotel uh, accommodation inventory because they were so impacted during COVID. That, and they already have a lot of the amenities for the extended stay guests that allow them to be comfortable. Versus, and there will be homes and other type of accommodations, but you can create a sense of community if a quarter or a third of the people at the hotel are staying there consistently. If they're there for at least a month, they might be going on travels to around the region, might be gone for the day or weekend, but you'll have some consistency in being able to see familiar faces, build those relationships, go on adventures and hikes and stuff with them. And oh, we have some visitors.
Yes.
Confirmation, right? And I lost my train of thought. Where were
Yeah.
we?
No, yeah. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, that's I could totally see that. It's like you're saying, this community of people where they're always remote, they're going around, they're remote working, they're digital nomads. They might even be in a totally different country and they just run into people, because I can imagine that the community is like so huge, which I think is awesome, because then you can actually network with people in different countries. Because I think with Zeal, right, it's not just Barbados. Barbados is just this thing right here, which is going
Correct.
to be an amazing event. But you have like the ability to then maybe from Barbados you go to Croatia or you go to Australia, but then you maybe have met someone, then you go back to Egypt, and along that way you might have actually met some people, and then you actually see them in other countries. Or do you find that people are willing to introduce them to other people? Let's say I met someone in Croatia. I know you're going there next. I'm going to introduce you to someone there. Are you finding that, as Kay had mentioned, obviously the Wi-Fi, but then not feeling like you fit in or belong because maybe it's a totally different culture and there's some culture shock there? Are people willing to introduce people, and are they continuing to build that network once they leave that area?
One of the things that has just surprised me about the remote working community is how giving they are in that regard. It's kind of like couch surfers was back in the 90s. Everyone's willing to open that door to be able to, put a warm plate of food on the table for you. It's so cool to see. You'll connect with people for a day or two and they're like, oh, next time you're in your town, come on by, let me know. Like, you'll pick up the phone a year or two later, you're like, actually, I'm going to be headed there in a few months. So, like, amazing, actually, I'm out of town, but feel free to stay. Like, do you have any friends coming? It's so cool to see how travel unites us, and our hope is really to unite travel then, so that more and more people can have this experience, because we are all global citizens, and we live locally, but we're now globally connected. So yes, whether it be a recommendation, whether it be, hey, you got to go and learn this, I've found everyone be super willing to support, and not just like turn the cold shoulder and be like, not my problem.
Yeah. And Eric, I'm curious, what is the expectation when it comes to cost of living, like living and work remotely? Is that like, I'm sure we have some listeners here, like they're thinking of doing this, but they're, can they
Yeah.
really afford it? I mean, what are the expectations?
So I'd like to say, there's a slice of life for everyone. Whatever space you're in financially, there should be a way that you should be able to work remotely. Now, Zeal is initially targeting and playing with hotels that are roughly the same as what you might spend in rent domestically. So that 150 to 200 a night, typically, kind of globally. But you can certainly do it for cheaper. You can do the 75, the 50, and you can even we know a lot of friends that do the villas that are, thousands a week. So there's the ability to really kind of be able to customize what type of experience fits you best, that's going to support your quality of life. Now, Zeal is going to have all these partnerships, like to rent your car, your home. How do you manage that so that you actually then can take that as an asset and be able to go live a better quality of life? Let's take $3,000 of liability between your home and car. Let's turn 4,500 or five after, management. And what does that now allow you to do to completely subsidize travel, healthcare, all that fun stuff while you're on the road, maybe even a little food. And then you're still working on the road. So now you have that as the cherry on top, right? So our idea is really, whether you're renting or you own, you can take a week, a month, a cold winter away, or if you really are inclined, go travel for a year more. And we'll show you how.
I'm curious, what is the long-term vision? What is the why behind the why of you guys doing this?
I believe that travel has an incredible ability to inspire and create impact. When you travel, you get connected, you get experiences, you get to learn about others, other cultures, and by virtue yourself along the way. And there's no one that you talk to that has bad negative experiences travel. And even when they do, they still take something positive out of it, right? It's always a learning experience. And so my firm belief is that we really should be able to make travel more accessible to everyone, and that the remote work is here to stay. And so how can we be able to make that experience more seamless and more fulfilling for people, whatever their travel experience is?
Yeah, well, a lot of companies are, willing to have their employees live wherever they want. So it definitely makes it easier. You have a better, lifestyle. The quality of living is better, right? Rather than being stuck in a $5,000 a month, one bedroom apartment somewhere. And plus, with the gas and inflation, I think this is going to be so attractive to a lot of entrepreneurs. Dan?
Yeah, I mean, with an entrepreneur, like you said, I mean, there's people in their 20s making six figures working at Facebook that would love to live everywhere, and that's more important than going to buy maybe a bigger house or an expensive car. Looking back, I wish I did that after college or even before college. Like, I wish I had taken on this ability. I mean, it makes total sense, and it's great that it's become so mainstream. And just so you know, I put the link to zealremote.com, Zeal remote.com, so people can check out the company though and what you're doing. And no, I was so happy that you were able to come here with Barbados. Do you have an update though? You mentioned there's some stuff you talked about today, and I know you're under very strict rules about not talking about it 99%. But is there like a 1% that you could give us update about Barbados?
Yes, there's an update I can share. We have some news. We're working with the tourism office to be able to activate the remote workers under the welcome stamp locally while we're out there. We're going to have some cool local workshops, not only from the influencers and travel writers, but they have some stuff in store for us as we get there. Beyond just some of the Love for the Locals events, they have some workshops around how do you make this transition to Barbados? What is investing, buying, moving, and some really cool things that Barbados is doing now as they have had new leadership over the last few months. And so lots of transition, lots of exciting things. I can say I'm personally excited for some scuba diving and our catamaran tours that we have scheduled. We're going to have a beach day and party that will be a lot of fun. So all the people that are following us, so we've got kind of two groups. Of course, we're going to be going live, right? We're doing all sorts of interviews and behind the scenes and showing people what this remote work lifestyle is like. And then for those that actually sign up and get early access and want to come and join the Zeal experience, they're going to be able to actually come with welcome stampers and come to our welcome parties and come to the beach days and networking events that we're going to have at the remote working cafes and such. So there's some cool stuff that we have up our sleeve that we'll share here in the coming weeks.
I can't wait to see all the planning and photos of where we're going. Dan?
Yeah, no, I think I love the mixture of the immersive experiences with learning, education, influencers, writers. You're really bringing people together, and you've mentioned the word investing a few times, and I have never thought about. I always think about, like you're saying, is when you bring in remote workers, it stimulates the economy because they're purchasing goods and putting money back in. But I didn't think about that. Possibly the addition is that if people fall in love with it, or maybe they get to see it and experience it, they might actually invest into that country. And I find that very fascinating. I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about that aspect of it, where this could actually be something. I mean, hey, if I'm buying land, if I can even do that, then I'm really invested in the country now. Maybe I want to stay, or I'll come back, or I'll recommend them, or maybe I'll even open a business there. Like, I don't know, maybe like a hamburger shop. But I was rated the worst cook in America, so I will not be the cook
That's a
of that.
start.
I won't be the chef. Hey, but I might not be that bad in Barbados. I don't know. So yeah, so I love it's like the mixture. Like Kate's talking about entrepreneurs, and you got employees, and you have people that have excess money. Maybe they're spending less now.
Hey Dan, let's
Yeah.
talk about those crypto fanatic that's making a lot of money, or you're launching an NFT project, but you want to be in a cool place. Hey, this is the place to be. You're in paradise, making money, having a community, enjoying life. Like, what else do you ask for?
Yeah, if somebody has a few million in crypto, you should definitely go to zealremote.com and sign up for this. I mean, I agree with you. Like if you and most of these people are younger, right? They're of the younger, 20s and 30s. And why would you not just be traveling around the world, meeting new cultures, new people? I think I love that. It's so embracing. So yeah, if you are like a crypto millionaire, you might as well go to zealremote.com. But I think too is like you're saying, it's the fact that you can even use crypto there. I'm very fascinating, and I would love to see a place, because I've never been somewhere where it's that readily accepted. So I'm fascinated to see in Barbados when we go how does that all work, and what does that even look like? And I think it's like looking into the future.
It will be a time portal. Yeah, I mean, I was downtown by Union Station and saw where you could be able to put your credit card in and get crypto out. I mean, there's a variety of machines and companies starting to tackle it right now. But I think the idea is to be able to really show people how to use it. Absolutely, yeah. You guys, let's put together a workshop. Let's pull some minds together. How do you create the wallet? What does this look like? Let's help people understand, the future of global commerce, because crypto too is here to stay. And becoming more familiar and not having it be such a scary thing, I think is going to help people understand, wow, this is cool. This is actually easier than I think. It's easier than actually understanding credit cards and using them. So, and safer. Most importantly, when you're traveling, my gosh, having and using crypto versus any other type of transaction, credit card or otherwise, so much safer. So, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, well, the Gen Z, they don't want to have their own house. They just want to be floating everywhere, maybe in the metaverse or Barbados. Like, definitely as we get older, it is. That's where we're heading. Dan?
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear about too is if you do this successfully, which I know you will, right? It's not an if, but after you do this and it's highly successful, where do you see this type of activation where it's like virtual activation with in-person activation? I'm sure many and I know you probably can't talk a lot about this now, but I'm sure there's people that are reaching out to you from other places to duplicate or replicate what's going to happen here. But maybe just based on the interest that you are hearing, how fast is this going to become a thing across other countries?
If people aren't able to come to Barbados themselves and they're interested and they want to follow along, get all the resources and tips, we're going to be releasing those then, and building our community over the fall with a reactivation of Puerto Rico. So we're looking at the fall to then bring those that have eyes, interest, now see and feel comfortable and a little more time to navigate how do they get out there. We chose Puerto Rico for a few reasons. One, the proximity. There's a lot of water sports activation. Yes, big tax haven, but there's a lot of other reasons that the huge new convention center, a lot of fun stuff that they're doing there as far as revitalizing it and developing. Same with the DR. So for those that want to follow along, get a sense of what remote working is like, how do they take those first few steps? They can follow along and start scheduling some time for the fall to be able to look at joining us in Puerto Rico.
Wow, that's going to be awesome. It's one place we have yet to go. Let me know when you're going to do activating Santorini, because we would
definitely go there.
I'll be out there in July with the idea, yes, of we've got some conversations in Croatia thereafter. They have a digital nomad program.
Amazing.
Italy now does. So yeah.
Wow.
Anyone listening that has government connections tied to the remote working space, we have some interest in Chile and such. We'd love to be able to discuss, how can we be able to bring thousands of remote workers out to use sustainably.
Well, Eric, you have contact in the Philippines. There's something that we can do, we can activate. But
Yep.
Are there any people to sign up? If they go to zealremote.com, they can get all the updates and newsletters, what's going on.
Yep, they can sign up, they can follow along. If they don't want to sign up quite yet and they want to share, the more they like, comment, share the behind the scenes, they have an opportunity to start unlocking some travel rewards and even 50% off our membership. So we're looking to have some fun. We're looking to enroll everyone and be able to really share what this lifestyle is like and bring everyone into the fold. So by all means, zealremote.com.
Well, I'm very excited. I'm going to sign up myself then. I'm going to Santorini. You're staying here somewhere.
I'll be in Barbados.
That's true, Barbados. Yes. Right. So let's do the closing. This is really fun.
I was going to say, make sure you go to Zeal, Zeal, remote, remote.com, zealremote.com. I'm sure they can connect. Do you have a social channel they can connect you with?
At Zeal Remote.
Yes.
On Instagram. Yep.
Yeah, and we will have Eric here as they're moving along and give us more updates. And hey, we might be somewhere else. But when is it? The Barbados?
June 10th to the 26th.
Okay, really awesome.
Yep,
yeah, thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you all. We look forward to seeing you out there.
Yes, see everyone in Barbados.